So, the interesting thing about the James Webb Telescope, if anyone's been following it for a while, the original launch date was 2007. And this is now 2021. And after many, many delays, the James Webb Telescope is finally on its way to the launch pad. It's being prepped right now. December 18th is the launch right now on an Ariane 5 rocket. And it's going to be set up a million miles away from Earth. And the idea there is that having, we have telescopes on our planet. Of course, the whole controversy with something like SpaceX's Starlink, where you've seen or you've at least heard of these trains of satellites that are going into orbit, and then there will be this constellation of satellites around the planet. These satellites are leaving streaks in our ground-based telescopes looking out. Atmosphere is not great for looking into space. It gets in the way. Obviously, pollution gets in the way. And then, obviously, these satellites are also getting in the way. Having a telescope in space is an even better situation because now things are as dark as you're going to get them. You don't have anything else in the way of you looking out. And obviously, being a million miles out is going to give you an even better perspective of what is out there. The challenge is getting to that million miles out there. And a lot of things have to go right in order for it to happen. And even the Hubble Space Telescope, which is at a higher altitude than the International Space Station, but the Inspiration 4 team actually went higher in altitude around Earth than the Hubble Space Telescope, which is why we talk about it so much, because it's one step closer to doing something brand new that we haven't done in a very long time with human missions, but I digress. I'm talking about Inspiration 4 a lot lately. Hubble Space Telescope had problems, and we had to, after launching, send a space shuttle mission to the Hubble Space Telescope to try and fix it. And we almost launched a telescope that didn't work. What happens when there is a space telescope that is a million miles away and something happens? Something goes wrong. And I really do have to commend NASA for putting out so much content around this. They actually put out a video talking about the amount of time that's going to take for it to get to that million miles, to actually deploy its solar panels, which is like origami, folded, a style of origami that folds the solar panels in a way that's you can fit it into the payload bay of a rocket and launch it. So there's so many different things, and that's just scratching the surface. We'll have a link in this article with all of that stuff in here, but there are so many things that went wrong, and I think it's so much better for NASA to be open and honest about that stuff and discuss it. Like, yeah, James Webb has been in progress for a super long time. If you talk to anyone that's interested in space and passionate about it, they have felt the pain of hearing that James Webb was going to launch and it didn't. Think about it. It was supposed to launch in 2007. They had to do a major redesign of the entire thing before that, and then it wasn't ready. It wasn't fully manufactured until 2016. And since then, there's been the promise of James Webb is launching. No, it's not. James Webb is launching. No, it got canceled. James Webb is launching. And now it's actually getting prepped to launch. So there's a lot of really cool stuff happening there. But it also shows, like, things don't go to plan like you'd like to sometimes, and you've got to adjust for that, and that is life. Unfortunately, even though it sucks and we would want to have the ability of James Webb, the telescope, hey, we're at a point where we're actually launching it. It did have to happen during a pandemic, but we're here. It's about to launch. Things are about to go, and once it launches December 18th, it's not just like the launch is the end of it. We're going to be following along with that launch in December, again, assuming everything goes well and they actually do launch. We'll be following the drama and everything that will come from, as they're calling it, the Super Bowl of missions, where it's, once we're in, all of these different things have to go through. Actually, let me pull up. What was the thing I read So there's 29 days after launch where it has to go nearly 1 million miles away, and there are, let's see, 300 single point failure items, and they all have to work. I mean, it's wild. I don't even know. I have to dive more into this because there's so much that's involved with getting a telescope that can look further than Hubble. And so now the line is, can we do it? Can we make this happen? So we'll be watching that.